Morning, Steve. Hmm. I don't see Steve. Don't hear Steve.
Do you
There.
hear me now?
Don't hear Steve
Can you hear me? Hello?
now.
You don't hear me?
Technical difficulties.
You don't hear me?
I hear you now.
All right.
Wrong
I didn't do
setting.
anything.
Oh,
Okay.
no, it's me.
All right. Good. John, I am going to let you run things. I've got an HOA commitment going on right now.
Oh,
And
no.
yeah, I'll pop in and out as I can.
Okay.
Uh, but I'll let you kind of run things. And hang on, I will. I'm going to do this and make you big. Thank you,
All right.
Lynn. Lynn, I don't have time to answer your text. I saw that I got one from you. I just don't have time. Hey, Mystic, how you doing, buddy? And so we got Lynn and Mystic. I saw 3Dub earlier. There's Anthony. Ethan. Joe Radar. All right. Anyway, with that, John, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'll pop in and out as I can. Okay.
Okay, very good.
I
Good
will be
morning.
listening. If my Bluetooth reaches far enough, I will be listening.
Okay, well, you know that this is more important than your HOA, right?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know
I
why
do.
you
But
would
this,
set them up during this
it's been going on all morning. All
ep.
right, and it should have been
Very.
over. But anyway, and
And,
Cheryl threw me a loop. Cheryl's got me running things, and anyway, here or there.
well, good morning, all. I didn't have anything planned for today, so Steve sort of threw me under the railroad tracks here. So, if anybody has anything they want to discuss, hey, that's great. Let me know through the text. I do have a couple of mail calls that we can get to in a few minutes. A little update on my railroad hasn't gone, hasn't moved any from where it was. I have started taking and arranging some of my buildings up there to see where I want the internal tracks, which is where I was last week. So, yeah, I'm getting slow and old and can't quite get everything done like I want to. But yet, I've been doing a lot of work outside trying to get my property ready prior to tick, snakes, and chigger season. So, trying to get everything done while it's still cold out there. Good morning, everybody. Let's see. Let me see if I can go back in the chat. I know that Steve uh, said hello to people. Ethan, Wigwag, Joe's got something more important to do too, like yard work, like I should be doing. But we understand that. Lynn, good to see you there. Um, Mystic, can never have enough Johns. Um, and that looks like High's here. And Lee's here, all the way from England. Not New England, but England. So I guess I'll start out with a little snapshot of what I received in my package that I got from Zitnik's training in Pels, Florida last week. I forgot to show one here was an M47 tank that's going to be part of my military train. I've got probably 10 of these now. Don't have enough flat cars for them all yet, but I'm getting there. And what I've been actually working on this week is getting some of my town scene buildings ready. That Steve wants us to, if we think about it, go ahead and scan the fronts of our buildings or in sides and backs and keep them in a PDF file so you can possibly use them when you're developing your own back scene, or maybe one of your friends online needs a back scene building that you can send to them PDF or JPEG and they can print it out themselves. This is one of the little DPM building fronts I'm working on right now. Um, yeah, it takes a lot of time. I'm doing the trick with painting individual bricks, different colors, and then once you put in the whitewash over the entire building, they sort of just fade into each other, and they're not as pronounced as you would think they are on the current model. It just helps to give a little bit of deviation to your brick buildings. Bricks aren't always all the same color. It all depends on the product that they put in there. And I've seen tan bricks, I've seen brown bricks, and red brick and red brick. So it's just adding a little bit of detail in there. And this building's going to be close to the edge of my layout, so it will be visible. I'm going to try to also put some lighting in it and some internal scenes since it'll be so close to the edge. Um, I guess I can do one of my. It's not a mail call, but it's went to my local hobby shop. Um, Steve had mentioned last time when I went to the hobby shop that I forgot something, so I picked up the sanding tower and drying house for my engine area, maintenance area. And yeah, I may have had a drying house, but I didn't have any of the tower sections for it. And then I also picked up some Tamiya, however you want to call it, paints. I've got a dull coat, um, and then I've got that almost a primer, and the old things going. There we go, and Panzer Gray. So that was my little trip to the local train store. Not much. They don't have a lot. They got like two little short rows. I miss my Zitniks in Pinellas Park. If anybody's close to there, that's a great place to go for new in the box, uh, new old stock, and used stock. They've got pretty good selection of engines and cars in there, and then they've even got the cheap bottom box cars also. My my actual mail call. Let me go over there and get it 1 second. Okay, I'm back. This one is also from Zitnik Trains. I am a sponsor of Zitnik Trains. I try to buy as much from them as possible. They appreciate that. They were not happy when I moved to Tennessee because, I've come in there 2 and 3 times a week, and I really have hurt their bottom end in their sales. So, joke there, but I spent quite a bit of money there. It's nice because you get to know the people and they really become friends, not just people at the train store. So yeah, I spent a little too much there, but they're always on the lookout for me for some of the C&EI stuff. Um, I think I'm one of two people that actually buys them from them, but I did get some train cars. But first, I saw in their weekly newsletter that they had gotten in some new products, and there were actually some things I needed. So first, I got a, let's see, this is a 1954 Buick station wagon, dark green roof, black body. Looks real nice. It's one of the Oxford cars. I did not have this one. And let's see, the next one I got was a uh, Dodge B-B1 pickup, 1948. This one is also in dark green. Nice little Oxford model. If you haven't seen these or purchased any of these yet, they are very nice scale models of the vehicles, and I've got quite a few of them now. My next one would have been it's Chevy, and it's a 19, what's the date on there? 1942 Chevy Woody station wagon. It's a dark blue color. It's got the roof rack, which I may detail with some luggage and stuff, or maybe just put a tarp over it and make it look a little different. Of course, it's a 54. So I mean, I'm sorry, it's a 42. So in my time period, it's going to be 6, 8 years old. I see Bernard just came in. Bernard, if you're wondering, Steve has something more important to do than have the broadcast today. So I'm sitting in and didn't know I was going to, so I didn't have a lot prepared for today. But I'm going through my mail call right now. Um, and let's see, the next one is a 1949 Mercury sedan. Nice mint green color with a black roof. That'll be good to add to my collection there. And then let's see what else is in the box. I guess I should maybe do like Heath does and take like an hour to open one box, but that gets boring after a while. uh, and my next is a little 3-pack of C&EI, of course. 3-bay gondolas, post-war, and luckily they're all different numbers, so I won't have to change any of the numbers on there. But yeah, it's good when you have the store that will look out for you, like Zicknick's does me. Of course, again, they wouldn't get rid of a lot of their C&EI stuff if I didn't buy it. Um, well, thank you, Bernard. I appreciate that. I like the vehicles. Uh, I'm always looking for them, but the 40s and early 50s is usually a hard time to find a lot of them. And I was so happy when they got these in and actually had them on the newsletter. And if you ever want to get on their newsletter, just give Zitniks a call, and they'll put you on their newsletter, and they show what new they've gotten in. And if anybody would like to know, their number is 727 201 9668. That's 727 201 9668. And I don't get any money for this. I pay the same price you guys do. But they're good people to work with. Um, okay, what else? I guess since Steve's not here, I will dismount my. Well, no, I guess I won't dismount my camera. I've got it fixed good enough where it's not moving. Guess if I do more of this, I'll have to get a second camera. Uh, they Mystic, they do decoder installs. However, they are always way far behind in getting work done. Last time I tried to have something done with them, it was going to be 6 to 9 months. They're they are that busy um, doing repair and work on engines. They do good work, but it takes a while. Of course, I do all my own decoder installs. I learned pretty quickly that there's not really much to it once you've got the basics down. So I've probably installed 30 decoders now in all different types of engines. Um, Heck, probably more than 30, probably more like 50 decoders because I've got them in just about every one of my engines, um, both in diesel engines and in my steam engines. So it's not hard to do. Anybody else got anything interesting today, or this may be a very short show today? Um, for weather report, see here in Middle Tennessee, we are 59 degrees and cloudy. Chances of showers in the morning, clear in the afternoon. No snow though, that's important. Uh, but no, we've been moving along here. I really got to get some more shelving put up underneath my T section of the layout, which is right over here. I'll have my decoder right here in the or the command station right here in the corner, so it's close to both the computer and my test track that's right over here on the other side, and will be nice and confined right in this area. I'm thinking about actually once I get work done under my peninsula of actually moving my workbench and stuff right under the peninsula, so I'll create some more floor space and I'll be able to work on the section that will go along this wall here. And same with on the other side where I've got all these, let's see, all these boxes here of train cars and engines. They're actually up higher than what the board will be, so I got to reduce that height, and that's something I'm gonna use this shelf over here underneath the T section of my layout for. I'll probably have a couple of different levels of shelving there for that, and it won't be bad because I'll be an 8 foot long by 2 foot deep shelf, so I'll be able to store a lot of stuff on there. And but I'm still going to make it modular enough that I can get it out of here if and when I can get my um, train shed up and running, which not going to be anytime soon. So I figure I'm just going to keep on working on this and get it ready for moving. Just when I put in a new section, make sure it's detachable to go ahead and be able to move it in the future. Plumber, good morning. Um, Steve is busy with his HOA stuff, so he sort of dumped it off on me today. And let's see. Oh, Does anybody there in chat have something interesting they're working on in their layout, or have anything coming up that they're going to be working on in their layout? Because I'm running out of things to talk about. I know me not being able to talk about something, but that's the way it goes sometimes, especially when you're not um, expecting to have to run his show for him. I know Steve has really been working on his background stuff. I liked his last Tuesday presentation. Um, what he's doing with those back buildings is one thing that's important for us to think about. If we have a printer that can scanning some of our buildings before we actually assemble them, so we can use them as backdrop buildings. I know Steve was had weathered his before he did the scan, but I'd I'd put it to you, maybe you don't weather them before you uh, scan them, because I know Jason Jensen has done a couple of his videos on how he actually has weathered his backdrop buildings after he had a scan of them. Um, some of the pastel chalks will still be able to settle on the building prints. So maybe you want to try that. I think with this one I'm working on right now, I may try that. Except, I was looking at it and I don't know where this center section is. I'm gonna have to find that. Last time I saw that, I was in Florida, and that was over a year ago. So it's got to be in some of my storage boxes someplace. I know I had thrown a bunch of these together just with tape to see where I was going to set them on the layout, and of course that's all changed. But now I got to find the rest of the parts for it. It doesn't have much more besides the roof, and I'll probably make my own roof for it, so that won't be too bad. But so anything else anybody got? Bernard, what have you been up to lately? I know you've started working on yours, I believe. Um, have you been able to get any headway on it? I think you were still collecting track the last time I heard. Jason, how you doing today? You know, you have to be motivated to put in decoders. Um, it's fun once you're doing it, but it is getting that motivation to even start it. I know some of my very first ones I put in, I needed to go back and redo them because I've learned some new techniques, and I learned how to shorten the wires or remove wires that you don't need for like your wiring harnesses. In fact, I showed Steve that, and he started doing that with his also. It's not hard. You just got to pull up those little pins, that little plastic pins that hold in the wires, and just pull them right out. And I save them. You never know when you may need them. I got a box where I separate them all out and keep them there in case I damage one, or I need to lengthen a piece of wire and I want to keep it the same color. Well, I don't have all those different colors in spools, so I save all the little pieces. All you need to do is put in resistor Well, you should have done that when you installed the decoder in the first place. And yes, we knew you meant decoder and not Dakota. Um, that spell check stuff. I know it thinks it knows better than you do, but it doesn't. Yeah, I can imagine that, Jason. There's not much space in an N scale engine in the first place. But even with the HOs, if you try to leave all those wires on there and not get rid of them, it's hard to get them under the hood of those um, diesel engines. Um, I don't like the method of just snipping them off. I think that could lead to shorts. So that's why I'd rather just completely remove them instead of just trimming them. I know some people have taken some of that rubber, um, liquid tape, and coated the ends of them, but yeah, that's still just it gives it the possibility of a short. And I have shorted out a decoder before, and yeah, it started to smoke some. Luckily, I didn't damage the shell of the locomotive. It's my one and only BNSF engine. It's not in my time period, but my daughter got it for me for Father's Day one time, and I wasn't going to tell her that I it's it's the wrong time period. Plus, I do like the colors on the BNSFs. Uh, that orange, black, and yellow just looks so good. Too bad it doesn't say C&EI on it, right? Uh, but anybody else had any problems with installing decoders, or you just haven't tried to do it yourself yet? I can tell you, there's so many self-help videos on YouTube for decoder installs, and one I like the best is called Solo Contracting. He has got a wide range of different engines that he has installed decoders on. And I have found, the exact ones that I needed for my own engines and was able to follow along with him and figure out how to do it correctly. Um, his videos are long because he does not leave out too many of the steps unless he's going to go in there and remove some of the weight. Um, he he'll do that off screen if he needs more room for he does the backup battery cells just about in everyone, but they're starting to make so many different shapes of those, and um, you can usually find one that will fit. I know I don't have a lot of them in mine, and maybe that's something else that I want to go back to and install them. But I haven't had any problems with them going over my old layout, going over the turnouts and losing power. I think if you do good track work and you keep your track clean, like they say, try to run it every day or two, which will hopefully keep your track cleaner and get away from those plastic road wheels. Um, and it, I really haven't had to clean mine much. Um, I know I've talked to several people that's used that Noox. Um, the stuff you can coat your rails with that will help um, keep the track cleaner. Uh, Jason, I've done quite a few Athearn Blue Box, and haven't had any real trouble with doing them. Yeah, the motor mounts are can be fragile, but so far I've been able to get all the motor mounts out without breaking them. I really should probably get a collection of new motor mounts. I've got, I don't have a lot of them, but I do have some that, maybe next time I get under inside it, I may want to try to change the motor mounts. But as long as they're working, that's fine. Don't really need to change them out. I've got a lot of Athearn Blue Box train cars. Some of the things I've done with them is, they all have the uh, molded on ladders. Something you can do to them to make them look a little bit more presentable is I actually cut out the steps on the ladder with either a chisel blade or something, and then what I'll do is I'll take some .010 round strewn and make new ladder rungs for it. At least that makes it look like it's standing out. I know the rails on each side of the ladder are still just molded on, but it's something you could do that doesn't cost a lot of money to do it, but um, all it takes is a lot of time because you figure if it's got most of them have four ladders on them, one on each side and one on each end. So, um, well, yes, Jason. I I really haven't tried to find out how many amps those motors are pulling, but I'm sure it's more than the newer engines do, um, which could be a problem. But as I say, I really don't have many of them. Um, and the ones I've done are okay. I really like doing the Proto 2000 engines. I seem to have real good luck with them, and they're a nice heavier engine. I've got a lot of them that are new old stock that really work well, and in fact, let's see, the Stewart hobby engines are also real good. Um, I've got several of them that I've been able to work with, and a couple of them are ABA sets, so it's nice to have them. Randall, good morning. If you're wondering why it's just me, uh, Steve's got more important things to do, and he threw this on me. Uh, it's nice when that happens to you. So I'm trying to think of things to talk about to keep you all interested and not be too boring on here. And the Stewart's engines, I've been finding them on eBay a lot, and they, as I say, I think they have Kato motors in them, and I know that uh, they just seem to run so well. And I see Bernard likes them too. That's good. Uh, they seem to be pretty good. Let's see. Only thing about PTK adding sound on small. Well, yeah, and that's where, like I was talking about, the solo contractor. He'll actually mill out some areas to put in speakers in them. I don't know that. What's the one online place that's supposed to have speaker houses for just about every engine. Can't remember which ones those are, but it can be difficult. Um, and I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination. I just I like to do my own work. But I know some people just would rather have, more of a professional person install them. Well, plumber, have fun picking up the kids. You peace out too. Uh, well, what else? Let's see. Of course, I've got a lot of the Atlas Classic. Um, I think, for my opinion, they're pretty good engines. I've got, well, 6 or 7 GP7s, and they all run well. And then my RS3s, uh, they're they're my favorite. Two of them have the gold sound standard, which sound the best. Um, I'm thinking about taking my other two that have, I think they've got Digitrax decoders in them, and changing them out to the Loke sound. But there's always that problem, is I don't have a Loke sound decoder station, so you know I'd have to buy one of them too. When I first got those two RS3s, I had to take them down to Gulf Coast Model Railroad shop down in Sarasota, and they actually changed the road numbers for me because I couldn't even do that on my computer. That's the only problem with that. It's JMRI doesn't always read them, doesn't always able to change your codes for your different settings. So um, yeah, if you don't buy their stuff, I guess you can't play with their stuff, or you find somebody that does. I know my model railroad club here in Crossville, Tennessee. We just had to close. We got kicked out of the mall. They're going to turn it into a mini storage facility. The club had been there 22 years, and they gave us a month to pack everything up and get out. Haven't been able to get to any of the meetings, but they're looking at several different places to reset up, and trying to decide what the club is actually going to do. Or the way they were set up in the mall, people would come in, they give donations. Our uh, membership fee was only $30 a year, and then you were had to have shifts in there working to greet the people coming in and looking at it. It was nice that it was set up. You could go in anytime you wanted, 24 hours a day. We had our own keys for the back door, and you know, it would have been nice. Of course, with my situation, I wasn't able to go much. With my wife being ill there for a while before she passed away, and then now my father-in-law with his replaced shoulder and broken wrist. Um, life is life is tough. Tough. Um, but I guess that's why I'm gonna start concentrating on my own layout, because we have no idea how long it's going to take to get our club back up and running. They do plan on rebuilding, and that'll be interesting, having to redo the layout. We're sure the building is going to be a different configuration. We don't know if we'll be able to have our large scale in there. We had a pretty big G scale layout and real big O scale layout. Both take a lot of space. And there were very few of us that were G, so um, it was for a limited number of people. So maybe we'll just stick with Engage and HO. Luckily, the people that do the G scale, they also did HO, so it's not like we'd be kicking them out or anything. But maybe we'll have something. It all depends on the size of the building. And I'm definitely not going to the Rocky Mountain Train Show, Bernard. I'd like to, but yeah, I'm not doing much traveling here for a while. I know that Nashville's going to have a large train show in May. Maybe by next Friday, I'll have that information if anybody's up here in this area. And then there's also one that I just saw come in for, I think it's May also in southeastern Tennessee, down in the Chattanooga area. That's coming up here. Mm, Well, let's see what anybody else has. My railroad set on the transition time, so I've got a large number of steam engines as well as early diesel engines. It's nice being in that time period because I can maybe just take all my diesels off and say, "Hey, I'm early 40s," or I can take all the steam off and say, "Hey, I'm mid 50s." So it's a nice area to be in. Of course, I did it because I wanted more train cars, um, or train engines, I should say, and that was a way to be able to get that taken care of.
And there's water quality monitoring on the computer.
And Steve, you're coming over the broadcast.
Oh, I see. Nice. I like that. Do you have a scavenger in there anywhere?
No.
No.
Okay, here's
What's the rationale?
okay. If I put an algae eating fish in there, and people do,
Uh-huh.
the problem then becomes
Phenomenal.
So Steve's now talking to somebody about his koi fish that.
my life is
Yeah. We'll listen to Steve for a little while talking about his koi fish. Anthony, you have a good day, and we'll see you later.
restaurant algae is fed by all plant elements, nitrogen, phosphates.
Yeah, yeah. Our club was talking about, well, could we theoretically purchase a place? Being a nonprofit, we were also thinking, well, can we do a GoFundMe that maybe helps?
Yeah,
There was a lot of people in the Crossville area that were quite upset, including the city council.
I mean,
Uh, it
fed
was a small draw for the area,
filters change.
and I there was at least 150 visitors a day, even during school time. We get people. We were right off the interstate, and they had just opened a big Bucky's right across the street, and we had seen the attendance pick up. Um, the as I said, we only
The best thing to
required or didn't require. We offered the chance for people to give donations to the club for viewing the layout, and um, it did pretty good. It was averaging probably about $1 to $1.25 a person in the donations. Some would give more, others would give nothing, but it kept the club fluid in their financing. That's what we have to look at some other spot. Are we going to get the people that are going to come in to um, make donations, or are we going to go to where we're just a train club and only have a few open house times a year, something like the Suncoast Model Railroad Club does in Pinellas Park? I think they have 2 times a year they allow the public to come in. But of course, their dues are much higher too. I had looked into joining that prior to um, leaving Pinellas County, and it was right around 300 to get started, and then they had monthly dues. I think their monthly due was $30. They were in a storage facility. Again, who knows? That they could run into the same thing that we did. Um, the owners of the storage facility may design to think about tearing them down and putting in apartments there or condos. Um, it's nice to have train clubs by. I guess now my next biggest train club would be in Nashville, but that's a 2-hour drive away at least. And a friend of mine over in eastern Tennessee by Johnson City, his railroad club's closing too. They ran into the same thing we did. That um, they got kicked out of the mall that they were in because the mall's going to redevelop. Uh, it's what do you do? You know, um, I know there's a train club down in Bradenton, Florida, and they're in an old strip mall setup, and you know, I who knows? These older malls are being torn down and turned into apartment complexes. It may just be a growing trend, um, but yeah, Lynn, I don't know if they were having a meeting at his house or he was just showing people his koi. He's proud of his big goldfish. You know, he takes his big goldfish all over with him. They're like his pets. He went to the big convention in Orlando a couple weeks ago, and he took his koi with him. You know, and then he goes out to eat sushi one night. So did you take your koi with you to the sushi bar, or are you afraid they were going to cut him up? Something, but we all have hobbies. That's just a strange one. When I was in Florida, I had a pond with some koi fish in it, but I didn't have anything set up as fancy as Steve has. But yeah, my pump shut down one time, and it didn't get enough oxygen in the pond, and my koi died. Oh, maybe Steve's coming back. Hey, there he is. Good. I'm about running out of things to talk about. Talking about your big goldfish right now.
My big goldfish.
Yeah, yeah.
Hang on, I need to change a setting.
I only lost about 5 or 6 of your subscribers here.
Well, that's par for the course.
Yeah, yeah. They come to see you, not me.
I lost my. There we go. Okay. Now I should be able to. Yep. All right. So how's everybody today?
They're bored listening to me.
They're bored listening. Did you do your unboxing?
Yeah, that didn't take too long. I didn't do a heat. I didn't take an hour to open one small package.
Well, people I think have gotten used to me. I've already opened mine.
Yeah, I actually opened one box. I had not opened it. I knew what was in it though. Usually when you get your boxes, especially when you from Caboose Stop, you don't know what you have in it. Well, I knew everything I had in mine. So
Yeah. Well, I had a pleasant find, so to speak. The first thing was I have been, and I'm going to make myself big for a change.
that's fine.
Under here, the plan has always been put cabinets in there so that I have not staging track, but staging areas where I can take stuff on and off the railroad. All right, and store it over here. So what I have, I finally broke down and got those.
Uh-huh.
And I can pull on a shelf.
Oh, and they have lids on the drawers too.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
So like this tray represents New York City. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the Broadway Limited passenger train goes. All right. I got one over there for Washington, D.C. for the Capital Limited. I've got my military train in here. So this is Fort Hood.
Ah.
All right. 1st Armored.
Okay.
And I'll have some others. Now, I've also cleaned and put other stuff in there. Okay. And I was going through all the cabinets, rearranging stuff because this was filled with other stuff. And and in the process, mind you, damn it, hang on 1 second.
I think we all need to chip in and get Steve a new Blame It on Heath t-shirt. Because the t-shirt's looking pretty bad.
Oh, crap.
There he goes again.
So anyway, in the process, I found something else. And what I found was this. Now, I thought, and I'd seen this box in the cabinet, and I thought it was simply one of the boxes for my Cato Ricardo bi-level commuter cars.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found when I opened the box, because it didn't feel like it was empty. Okay. So what I found was
Yes, Lynn, I noticed Steve's shirt is looking pretty bad.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, what I found was a Rock Island bi-level commuter car. I forgot that I had that thing. Right? And what the issue was, my Burlington one, it's a cab coach. All right. which gave the engineer a place to go around to the back of the train and run the train from the back so that they didn't have to flip the engines around for the commuter trains. All right. And I couldn't get the Burlington one to run right, and so I got a Rock Island one. And then I just switched the shells, and I was good to go. And I put the Rock Island apparently away in the back of one of these cabinets, and I just happened to find it, and still didn't remember I had it until I opened it up, and I said, "Oh my!" And so I hooked it up to my other makeshift Burlington passenger train, and I'll show you the rest of it. And I had an extra RPO car. Of course, I got plenty of E units. I had an extra railway post office car, an extra baggage car. And John, you may remember this one. You gave it to me, except it was labeled. It's a Concord, and it's labeled. It was labeled as a Burlington Northern.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I stripped the.
You're at the side camera.
Yeah, I know. We're going to this one. Okay.
There you go.
So there we go. So I stripped the Burlington Northern off and put Burlington decals on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to modify the trucks, all right, because it came with horn hooks, and so I took that pocket off the horn hooks and modified with some styrene a place to mount a Katy box and Katy couplers. So what we end up having, not all of the commuter trains were bi-level, okay? And additionally, the E8s and the E7s, etc., didn't have enough power, extra power, to power the electrical for more than like 2 to 3 cars.
Mm-hmm.
So they would take an old baggage car, because by the late 60s, they had all these excess baggage cars, and transform those over, first the heavyweights, but then later the streamlines, to power cars. Okay? And made power cars out of them to power the rest of the coaches. So anyway, so that's kind of what I have represented in this picture here.
Mm-hmm.
Once I change it over, there it is. Okay. So now I have 2 commuter trains. And I'm debating whether I'm going to leave this one as a Rock Island or whether I'm just going to repaint it and make it another Burlington bi-level. I'll probably just repaint it and make it a Burlington. So
yeah, I've got a couple of F3s that I'm thinking about trying to repaint, but the early F3s had that very ornate blue and orange paint jobs on it, and I'm trying to figure out if I have the capabilities of actually doing that. I was thinking about scanning the side of one of my engines to make a stencil. But then you still have the nose, and it seems like each one of those had a little bit different nose dressing, and I'm going to have to see if I can find pictures of the ones I want to do. That
have you looked at Microscale to see if they have any?
No, I have not. They have the GP7s and the GP9s for the black bodies. They have them for the dark blue F3s, which had just yellow lettering but no fancy hood detail. So
All right. Well, cool. Bernard, I do not know where anybody that has a T3 rail ender uh, tender for you. Just keep an eye on eBay. Is probably the best bet. One nice thing about Burlington is it's an easy paint scheme. It's silver.
Mm-hmm.
Or the freights, of course, Chinese red and gray, and then you got the blackbirds, which are black and gray with the striping and stuff. So,
Well, Bernard, what I want to do is I've got a couple bodies that are I bought just for the body of the F3s, and what I'll do is I'll try a couple different techniques of doing the blue and orange on them before I try one of my ones that actually I run. Um, I've got one of the Proto 2000. Oh, well, shoot. I forgot the name of the engine. It's one though that C&EI only had two of them.
diesel or steam?
It's a diesel. It's an ugly engine.
Alco or what?
No, it was shoot. I just a BL2.
Oh, the BL. Yeah. The one that looks like it has fenders, right?
Yeah, it's pretty
I
ugly.
always thought that was the ugliest
Yeah,
locomotive ever.
and the C&EI only had two of them. Well, I found one of them.
You want to know how many the Burlington had?
Zero.
They're smarter than that.
Yeah. But I've got a Proto 2000 undecorated that I want to try to paint, but it still had the blue and orange, the light blue and orange paint scheme, which I've got one that's a C&EI that who was it? It was an Athearn blue box. I got two or three of them, but the problem with them is they're just one truck drive. They had the motor
Oh yeah.
mounted right on the truck.
Are you sure that's a proto?
No, that's a Athearn blue box, I believe.
One
The
truck
Pro-
drive?
Yeah.
That sounds like more like a Bachman or an AHM.
Oh, maybe it's an AHM. Yes, it's AHM. I'm sorry. I got so many engines, I'm confused. But
Yeah,
anyway,
they
it's
had the
got,
motor mounted on the truck.
right, correct. Now I've got two or three of them. So I thought about, well, maybe I'll put a motor on each truck and just wire them up so, the back one's running the same direction as the front one. And, but I've got this Proto 2000 undecorated. The only problem with it is all the hand grabs are already on it. It's a pretty detailed model compared to the AHM models.
Now, if I could find a AHM F unit that had a single truck drive, what I would do with it is I'd put a camera in the son of a gun.
Yeah.
On the non-drive side, and then run it in a consist, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But that would make for a good camera train. Whether I put it on as a Santa Fe or Burlington, or it doesn't matter.
Well, but you could also just do that with a dummy unit.
Yeah.
Because
The problem I have, okay, is when you're pushing things around the layout that has as many undulations in it as mine has. Okay, you're asking for problems pushing. All right. Whereas if it's powered, it doesn't. It's not going to have that. It's not going to get pushed off the track.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember though, those ones that had the motors on the trucks, those are very inefficient motors.
Don't
And
care. All it has to do is power that loco. You'd have it in a consist with 2 or 3 other engines that would power the train. Okay. All it would do is keep the other 2 from pushing an unpowered dummy off the track at a turnout or something.
Okay.
So anyway,
but then you'd have to put a decoder in it too, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Well.
You know, it doesn't have to be a sound decoder. It can be a cheap old.
Well, yeah. I was just thinking that it'd be hard to speed match that just because it's so inefficient. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's well over an amp of power.
It all depends. Don't know until you try.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. So, and again, it's not. There's no load on it. It doesn't have to pull a load. So, even if it's an inefficient engine, I mean, I've got locos here that date back to the early '60s that pull a little over half an amp. Okay, and like the trolleys and the 40 tonner that I got back here. Now this thing doesn't hardly pull much more than a half an amp.
Yeah.
So, and I'm running 2 5-amp power supplies, so I got plenty of power available.
And did you put a decoder in that one, Steve?
No.
Okay.
I have it running up here on near the trolley track, so I can run it around there.
Oh, okay.
That's my DC. It's also, my trolley track acts as my DC test track as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw Lynn's comment about the boxes. I need to put some foam in there to cushion them and keep them from sliding around and that kind of stuff. I mean, I just got them in Monday and I've been busy. So, hey, I've got to cut it off because I got to go pick up Cheryl. She had to go to church today. So, and I had my HOA thing, my 1 hour HOA meeting that lasted 3 hours. So, my apologies. But I'm glad I was able to get back on, and thank you for keeping the show alive there, John.
Well, I hope people didn't get too bored with me.
So, well, there's 7 people still here, so I guess not.
Yeah. Well, we got 7 good people here.
That's right.
Yeah.
The 7 you count, right?
Yes.
You, me, and 5 others.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that, everybody, I want to thank everybody for joining us, primarily John here at the Retirement Railroad. Thanks, John, again.
No problem, Steve.
I'm Steve. That's John, and you all have a great day.
Bye.
It's Friday after all. Bye, everybody. Thanks again, John.
You're welcome.